It's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. So I'm walking around about to eat my banana, and my peanut butter crackers. And I've got to do my food for the day, food for the week. But this happens to be one I'm recording ahead of time. So you're watching this on Friday. I'm recording it Thursday afternoon because I'm walking out. And as I'm walking out of the library, I find my Pastor Jarrett Stevens here. And I'm talking to him about what he's preaching on Sunday. What are you preaching on Sunday?
I'm talking on the power of prayer and fasting.
The power of prayer and fasting. While I'm eating, I'm learning he's going to be talking about prayer and fasting. And I said, you know, these video thoughts for the day this week, this has been Food Week. What a better way to end Food Week than prayer and fasting. So now here's the deal. Jarrett's telling me about his sermon Sunday. By the way, details below. If you don't have a church to attend or if you want to watch it on the internet, please come. It's going to be a great sermon. It's going to be very practical, hands-on. But in the process of talking to him, he just exploded my brain with something out of Matthew 17. I'm going to set it up. Then I'm going to ask him about it. I want you to hear him. Let him explode your brain with it too. Here's the story. Jesus has sent his followers out to cast out demons and to heal and to do all sorts of works in the name of God. And there's a boy that they're not able to heal. And they come back to Jesus and they say, you know, we couldn't do anything about this one. And Jesus says that this is a demon that could only be driven out by prayer and fasting. And in the process of that, gives this memorable line about, oh, you crooked and perverse generation. You're unbelieving and perverse, he says. Unbelieving and perverse. Now think about that. It's Matthew 17, unbelieving and perverse. And I'm talking to Jarrett about it. Lay it on him.
Well, unbelieving and perverse right there. And I heard this idea first mentioned by Chris Hodges, who's pastor of Church of the Highlands in Alabama. But he says on this whole idea of prayer and fasting, unbelief has to do with the fact that we're not connected enough to God. Thus, the power of prayer. Prayer connects us to God. Perverse means we're too connected to the world. Therefore, when we fast, we are disconnecting ourselves from the world. And so what I'm thinking through, praying through, calling the church to this week, and what I would encourage you in is this whole idea of prayer, get connected to God, and fast, disconnect from the world. Whatever that may look like, you may fast for one meal for one day. You may fast for one day. It may be a social media fast. Mark, I know you talk a lot about prayer and fasting, but again, the whole idea is let's seek God at a greater level. And I think a key is when we talk about this fasting, we're not fasting to get something from God. We're fasting to get more of God.
Ooh, that's just fantastic. So I've finished my lunch. And by the way, fasting should not be the kind of thing where I fast in between meals. Sometimes it is. That's not the goal here. But fasting is a marvelous way to disconnect from the world and connect to God, because when you're fasting, at least when I fast, it's something that I crave. And so it's a constant reminder, oh yeah, I'm supposed to disconnect from the world and connect to God. So if I'm hungry, I need, instead of eating, to pray. Or if I'm craving social media, and that's my fast, I need to, instead of social media, God media. I need to connect with God. And so this whole idea of putting together fasting as a way of disconnecting from the world and a way of connecting to God is fantastic. Now, I can't lose my chance with Pastor Jarrett here without getting one more freebie for you guys who are watching this. Pastor Jarrett, where in your quiet time and how in your quiet time have you disconnected from the world to connect to God historically in your life? Give us a real world example.
Well, for me, it's every single morning. You know, it's the principle, we talk about the principle of the tithe, giving your first tenth. For me, it's that first time alone with the Lord in the morning. And so that's where I disconnect from the world. I have a set place to do it, where it's the study at the house, where I can sit down and I've got a plan in place where I'm reading a proverb of the day, a psalm of the day, Old Testament chapter, New Testament chapter, and that's what I call my hour of power. And so I would encourage you, those watching, get alone with the Lord as your hour of power, where you disconnect from the world. And this is what a practice we saw with Jesus, right? He would go to a desolate place by himself, and he would pray. So very important that we do this every day, if at all possible.
You know, don't forget, not only did Jesus go to a desolate place, but he taught his apostles to do the same. We often see Jesus doing it, but forget, he told his apostles, you need to get to a desolate place and pray. That's something we can all do. Let's learn to disconnect from the world and connect greater to God. That's your video thought for the day. Thank you, Pastor Jarrett. See you Sunday morning. See you guys next week. God bless you.